What's up, boners? BNS back in the building. We are running a special. It's not really a special, but jump on the Patreon, jump on the Discord. We have a lot of good weeks coming up, and I think you guys should check out what we got inside.
Apparently we're live, and apparently I'm back. Having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we just had a whole conversation about MILFs, Coronado, bacteria. You guys missed a lot.
Man, all in that order. MILFs, Coronado, bacteria.
And they're unrelated to each other, I think.
But yet somehow so similar.
What would happen if all the bacteria was just caused by the massive amount of MILFs that migrate to Coronado during this time of year?
With all of their bacterial-ridden children.
Years of men bacteria in the water. It's like when you pee in the pool, you know what I mean?
Buildup is too much. You can no longer put chlorine in the pool. You've got to drain the pool and start over.
Sorry, guys, at Coronado, we're going to have to drain the ocean. So many MILFs. Aaron Watershow would like that joke.
Man, I was just at Coronado all week. It was cold and miserable in San Diego.
I didn't realize how many. Well, okay, wait, a couple things.
All right.
One, I don't really consider you a ginger.
I don't think I am. When I grow my beard out, it's red, and so people ginger me. But when I shave, I'm not gingerish.
Have you ever gingered yourself?
I don't know what that means.
Have you ever talked about yourself as such? Identified as such?
No, I don't identify. I use other pronouns, but ginger is not one of them.
Maybe it's on the Discord. People call you ginger quite a bit.
All the time. People always refer to me as ginger.
Yeah. So when
I accept it, I don't appreciate it, but I'll allow it.
You know what's funny? So you were gone. So I put out the bat signal, got my guy Pepe in the building. I said, I need to replace.
Who apparently doesn't own a microphone.
Yeah, no, I mean, he, whatever. He's got to win a few more bets first. It's been a rough year.
Tell him we'll send him one next time.
I didn't know you watched the show. Whoa, that's all right, cool. You watch the show. Who doesn't watch the show?
I didn't. Gabe messaged me and said, hey, the audio sucks. And he had to fix it all in post.
Oh, no way.
It was a thing.
We
almost scrapped the whole thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody was like, quit eating into the microphone. I did it on purpose just to cause some, ruffle some feathers. Was it me who was eating?
When you're eating in the microphone. Yeah,
it wasn't me?
It was you.
No, because I ate a banana and sardines. That's not allowed food.
Who the fuck is eating banana and sardines? Like, what is wrong with you?
Well, the banana was just for the screenshot. I ate that on purpose, and I
sardines though. Like, that's disgusting.
No, the sardines are good. I've been eating a lot of canned seafood.
Gosh.
Well, I don't have much. I got chased down the other day.
By?
Well, I was on the highway and I was texting and driving as I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I mean, you're the worst probably ever. You are maybe the worst I've ever seen.
So I got my insurance dropped me.
What?
I am the most functional person. I have really good credit. I make decent enough money. I'm not like a criminal. Like, I am the person that like you would think would have like, and I've always had good insurance rates. I'm over 25. All of the stuff the insurance companies would be like, yes, we'll do it. But I got a red light photo radar ticket in Paradise Valley, and then a speeding photo radar ticket in Paradise Valley. And then I got rear-ended, and they considered it no fault because I was pulling out of a parking spot. Guy was flying right in front of the gym. The police said no fault. Both of our insurance companies put it as fault to each of us. And so wow. I have 2 tickets and then a accident. And my insurance, State Farm, fuck you, State Farm, dropped me. And so then I was trying to get insurance for we're trying to get quotes. Like, all of these places are like, no. And then the quotes that we're getting are like $1,200, $1,500 a month.
For multiple cars or just one?
For both of our cars. And then Tesla now offers insurance.
Oh, no. Don't go down that road.
Oh, I did.
Well, that's what my story is.
Oh, well, I went down the road.
Oh, shit.
And they insured me for a very normal rate with both of my cars.
Yeah, you think.
Until.
So here's the problem. This is actually part of the story I was going to get into. So
now I'm scared.
So I got the Tesla. Okay. I got the Tesla insurance, because here's the thing about me. If it requires a phone call or talking to somebody, I won't do it.
Out.
Taxes, calling for insurance. So I've had expired insurance. Duty. I had 4 cars just like a month ago. And I think 2 out of my 4 cars were not insured because it just like ran out. My policy was like, they were like, hey, we're going out of business. And it was on auto pay. And I don't check my email. So those policies.
Who are you being insured by? Who is going out of business?
Secura Insurance. They gave me this long letter that was like, listen, we can't be profitable doing insurance anymore. So we're stopping it altogether. And my people were like, I have a broker, and they messaged me and was like, hey, you're going to need to find new insurance. And I didn't know this. So 2 months went by. I was driving uninsured. I have a BMW I'm actually giving back at the end of the month. Hasn't been insured in 4 months. So I haven't driven this thing. Okay. So I get the Tesla and I'm going to get new insurance. And so I called my broker and was like, hey, do you think you could find me the best rate? Again, I got 800 credit. I make good money. I'm handsome. I'm hung. Everything an insurance company would look for. Everything an insurance company would look for. Okay. And the guy gets snappy with me and he goes, hey, bitch. No, he didn't start that way. He goes, hey, bitch. He goes, your insurance policy has been expired for 2 months. We repeatedly tried to get a hold of you and you continue to ignore us. At this point, we would have to report it as you knowingly going without insurance, and no company will pick you up because of that. Okay. So no broker for the Tesla. So I go through the Tesla insurance, and the issue with Tesla insurance is it is based on your driving patterns. Yes. Okay. So my very first trip, I drove to Fight Ready in the morning. Now there's construction at Fight Ready and everyone gets real redacted driving there. Okay. They shut down the lanes. Everyone smacks their brakes. So I was texting and driving as I usually do. At least I wasn't drunk.
That's why we have a Tesla.
That's why we have a Tesla. And so everyone came to a crazy stop. So I smacked my brakes and then the red light went off because the car stopped in front of me. I was hitting my brakes too hard, all this stuff. So it gives you a driving score. It's out of 100. They start you at 90. Okay. Within 2 drives, my score was at 48 out of 90. So my estimated payment for the next month was $890 after 2 drives. So I spent the rest of the month driving like a grandpa. I'm driving the speed limit. I'm not making harsh turns. I'm staying far as fuck away from everybody because those are the criteria.
Yes.
Okay. So I got my score back up to 90 within the month, but my insurance is still like $350 a month, which is disgusting. It made me want to cry. So, okay, that's for 1 month. Next month starts, the next period. I am driving smooth as shit. My score is at 95 out of the gates, right? I'm a good driver. Even when I'm drunk or when I'm texting, sometimes both, I'm still a great driver. I'm good. And so I get it to 95. Okay, now I'm texting the other day on the highway, and this, God, I hate driving on the I-17. It is all Mexicans.
Oh, it's worst freeway in the country.
I'm half Mexican. I just hate my own people. So I'm driving and this lady pulls up next to me, and this is like a rare thing. I didn't change lanes. I didn't do shit. I'm just minding my business, texting my hoes. No, I'm just kidding. And she pulls up next to me and she just looks at me and just goes, hey, and flips me off. Okay. So I said, okay, I don't know what I did to this lady. I'm just going to mind my business. But I'm not aggressive, but I looked at her and I went like this. That's what I do every time. I go like this. I put the hands up. So I get off on the exit. Well, guess who's behind me? This lady. Okay. So I'm like, interesting. Maybe she lives where I live in this broken down suburban. Yeah. Maybe she lives in my neighborhood. No. So I'm driving. Okay. I switch lanes. She switches lanes. Okay. I get over one more time. She gets over one more time. And then I'm like, ooh, she might be following me. Maybe it's a coincidence, but maybe she's following me. So I switch back 2 lanes. She switches back 2 lanes. And so I said, okay, now this is a thing. Now this is a thing. So I get into the turning lane and I turn. Okay. And this is where I think I'm going to get her. So then there's like some traffic here, 2 left turn lanes. Chase. Dude, this is a high speed chase.
It's a low speed chase.
Well, no, here's the thing. I have a Tesla. So my 0 to 60, I got the performance Tesla. My 0 to 60 time, you can't fuck with.
You're going.
Oh, I'm going. So there's the 3 lanes here. The right lane is open. The 2 turning lanes are open. So I think I'm going to catch her. I fake like I'm going to go to the turning lanes. She pulls up to get next to me to start cussing at me or shooting me, either one. And I maneuver back to the right turn lane. I'm like, I got her. She's going to give up now. Oh, this I don't want to
She
say.
doubled down now.
No, I don't want to say the B word, but this bitch did not give up. She reversed her car in the lanes and went to the right lane with me. Okay. So I make a speedy turn and my heart's beating at this point because I'm not allowed to carry my gun anymore because that other stupid bitch who I didn't touch put a restraining order on me, so I can't carry a gun like I usually do. Usually I'd be like, hey, motherfucker, I'm in a Tesla, but I still carry, you know? It's an oxymoron, but I'm there with it, okay? So I smash it, boom, 0 to 60. But I'm on surface streets. So, you know, with the Tesla, you can't go over 85. Otherwise, it dings your score. But the whole time, my score is in my head. I'm like, would I rather get shot? Or would I rather have a low score on the Tesla insurance? And it was going through my mind. And I'm having to make hard turns, which is like ding, point off.
Medium turns.
Yeah, point off, point off, point off. I'm driving through parking lots. This chick's just curbing shit. She's going over mediums, like fucking going through the parking lot to catch me. And then I'm mashing it. I'm so far ahead of her. And she's still right there following me. She's maneuvering through traffic, running red lights to try to get to me. And I don't know what it was. The final straw was I went down the street and I see a car turning right. And I'm like, these are old people. I could tell they're not going to make the right turn until there is not a car on this street. They'll never just make the turn when it's appropriate. So I took this side street where these people sell firewood. I took the side street fast, and then I made a left turn, and the traffic must have been coming where it just cut her off and she couldn't go. And so I got away, but I was going to take her to the police station, like go drive into the police station parking lot and then be like, what's up? My brothers in blue will protect me. But the issue was the police station was all left turns and I didn't want her to get out of her car and shoot me before then. I had to keep making right turns like my life depended on it. I finally got away, got to my house, shut my garage, and I'm like, all right, now who's tough? What's up? But just the delusions of some people. Like what, you know, if she doesn't have a gun, what's she going to do? What's she going to do to me?
Give you a stern talking to.
Hey, I didn't like when you were texting and I couldn't get over. Okay. All right. Anyways.
Oh, man.
Bitches be crazy.
I got a 94.
How you get a 94?
I don't know. I asked Kindle and my kids what they thought my score would be. It starts at a 90. And Enzo was like, oh, it's got to be like 30. And Kindle was like 74. And everyone...
After my high-speed chase, I'm at a 93.
See? There you go.
But I was at a 95.
Man,
so all those hard turns. Oh, my God.
Let's get into fights. We have Fight Night Vegas, Apex, which is the death of all humanity in that place.
Why?
It's just a soulless vat of just despicableness.
The only thing that could be worse is UFC Perth.
Ugh. I hate the Apex. We've got some fights, though. Some of them are shit, but there's a couple of good ones.
This is going to be a weak podcast, at least for me.
Oh, yeah.
I could not get into the tape at all.
It was hard.
It was hard. And there's a lot of fights where I'm like, these, I don't know. I
didn't want to waste energy, so I skipped the women's fights, which, I mean, you know, normally I wouldn't do. But I really wanted to put my time and energy on the not women's fights, on the other pronouns. So, what do we have? First fight is what? Shailan Nurebecki and Milky Costa. Shailan is most famously noted for being the winning side of a thrown fight.
Yeah, I mean, he is. Minner's making a comeback. I just seen Kraus. Yeah, he is. I seen Kraus post a story today.
What?
Jeff Molina backslinging some dick, you know? Life's rolling on.
Wild.
Life's going on.
Whoa. Minner's not fighting the UFC, right?
No, I think he's fighting some small Oh, okay. No, not BKFC. Sanko's doing the damn thing, you know what I mean?
Man. Band's back together.
Hey, we're all back in it.
Nurebecki is a good wrestler. Gosh, his entrances into his shots are so tight on the hips, and he gets in so well. Boy can wrestle. I think I said what I need to say on Nurebecki. Other than that, gets reversed, gets flopped over. Stand-up is really stiff. Cardio's okay if he's on the offense, but the second he gets put on the defense, cardio kind of crashes.
To me, he looked like he would get a lot more tired doing what he did, so his cardio was impressive to me.
His cardio is decent, but he just like watching Sean Soriano.
Watch what you say.
I know.
Watch what you say.
I love his stand-up, but his grappling is not amazing. Man, him sweeping Nuremberg and just throwing him down. I mean, it's just like...
Sorry, come on.
They're flip-flopping all over the place. And then Melky, I can't figure out quite yet.
What's up with the skin?
No, I know what's up with the skin. I can't figure out, like, do I really like him or not?
Who named him Melky? That's hilarious.
Right? What are the odds?
Like, what are the odds? Like, he look. You know,
you're not going to know that your son is going to come out.
But isn't that a nickname?
Is it Vitiligo? Is that the
Vitiligo?
Vitiligo.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah, maybe it translates differently in Portuguese. But
I mean, I love cookies and cream, little Milky Way, a little something.
Melky does good stuff. He defends shots well. We saw him, but watching Thiago, Moises. He shoots like head down, kind of runs doubles, whereas Shailan actually wrestles and shoots really good shots. That said, I like Costa's sense of urgency on sprawling and defending and going. And I like Costa's stand-up as a whole. Really good front kicks up the middle. He does a lot of stuff well. I don't think he's going to death gas. I think he can get through it. I like Costa here. I think if Costa were really, really willing to like TJ Brown it and grapple, I think Shailan could really do a lot of grappling and top bottom flip flop this that. But I think Costa's going to know to defend and sprawl and brawl and throw, and I like him here on the spot.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Just that path to victory these days is very, very hard. To wrestle for 15 minutes and do nothing else and just top time, that's very hard.
Well, you said it, and do nothing else. He doesn't ground and pound. He's not hunting submissions. It's wrestle and then they pop up and he does it again. That
whole shift in judging gave me a choice. Like, you either quit or you change your whole style. And so now you have to add in punches. You have to have back takes. You have to do something of note, threatening. Those wrestlers that do that and nothing else, it's like, it's a horrible bet to me. He could be a little fire hydrant. Honestly, I could see a world where Melky's trying all his stuff and the little fire hydrant just swings on him and cracks him. I could definitely see that. Or maybe he tries to get in on the hips and keeps ending up on bottom because Shailin's hips are so strong.
And he dropped Garcia. Good shot.
Yeah, but then got knocked out. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think Melky is just more dynamic, more tools, more ways to win, just a little more pliable than the fire hydrant. Interesting fight to me. I'm probably not going to make a play on it, but I think I like Melky also.
Okie dokie.
All right, cool. Next up, and the entire fight list and all the odds are brought to you by FightChalk.com. We have Julia Polastri plus 185 versus Josephine Knutsson minus 225.
I was going to talk about this first, but why don't you go?
No, this is actually, I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting. This is going to be a fun fight.
Oh, really?
This girl Polastri is nasty a little bit. Like, not in like a gross, like typical Brazilian way, but like she's like kind of a fun fighter. This is a fun fight. I'm in a good mood today. I just found the love of my life yesterday.
Who's going to win?
I think Knutsson's going to win, but I think this is going to be a really fun striking fight. So we've used this example a lot of times when Javid fought Mendonça. You kept saying this, like, you have the one slow, stiff plotter versus the mover. And I think that's exactly what this is. It just so happens another Brazilian. But Polastri is a very Muay Thai heavy girl. Even the way that she stands is very Muay Thai. She'll kind of bounce that lead leg. She'll put her hands down, kind of draw you in. One thing I do like is she's very calm. She kind of knows what she's going to do, and she throws with heat. But Knutsson is a good striker. The feints, the level changes, the combinations, the leg kicks, everything she does, I just think is solid. And she moves. You know, she might be on the back foot, but this is one of those fights I can see her on the back foot and still winning every exchange. But, you know,
people put way too much emphasis on who's pressing forward and going backwards. Like, if you're pressing forward and swing and miss and I hit you, what the fuck does it matter who's going forward and backwards?
Yes and no. I see both, because it used to be scored so heavily in the UFC. Man, this round is close enough, but one person was going forward the whole time. But the issue is that not a lot of people know how to fight on the back foot. So you get those rare instances where you do know how to fight on the back foot, then it means nothing.
See, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like people don't know how to fight moving forward. I feel like people naturally know how to move backwards and away from punches and counter. And I feel like as people are pressing so often, they're walking. You hear me say it all the damn time. Walking forward without doing anything, walking forward without punching, walking forward without volume, without overloading. You just walk forward, and just by design, I swing, you're already backing up, you counter me. Now it's one thing when people get stuck on the cage in these grappling exchanges and they get backed up and like pushed into the cage. That's a whole different animal. But just in terms of like forward movement versus backwards movement, I think humans naturally are better at setting up backwards movement fighting because it means you went first and then I get to counter you.
When your back's against the wall. What you want to say?
Yeah, I think what Brandan is saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you have a round where not a lot is happening, where both guys are kind of inactive, but you have one dude who's trying to press the action and the other guy's on his heels running away the entire time, then I think in that case you would probably look at the guy who's pressing forward.
Well, I mean, just the
this guy don't know.
Himself.
I just unplugged his mic, so nobody heard that.
The judging criteria, I mean, the absolute last thing is like advancing pressure. And so
What the fuck is the criteria though? It's
changes
insane.
all the time.
So I talked about this last week. Not even accidentally. I put in a $6,000 bet on Hiestand dos Santos. And I didn't have a full intention of seeing the bet through. Really, I was waiting for the line to blow up and I was going to cash out or hedge and bet the other side. And I actually said this on the podcast last week that Fugitt Tomar was the side. I said, I doubt Hiestandi's actually going to proactively grapple, or maybe she wins the first round. And then I think the striking is really close and competitive. I watched that fight. I didn't hedge. I kept my bet $6,300 on Hiestand because I got her at minus 210 to win 3,000. And we're going to go to the judges' scorecards, and she was advancing the whole time, way bigger shots, way bigger everything, versus the girl was just throwing side kicks. And eventually, a couple of shots here or there, but it was all side kicks. And they gave it to Fugitt Tomar. And I'm like, what the fuck is the criteria? Because the shots were bigger. She was advancing. She would, not that she ever got her down, but she would press the grappling a little bit. She made louder noises with her mouth. Yeah, ha.
Oh, always Kia.
But I'm being serious. Like, I thought she won 30-27. Not that it was, a blowout each round. Every round was
close, but yeah.
I thought she won clear, and they gave 30-27 to Fugitt Tomar, who got dropped in the last round, got hurt. It's like, what the fuck's the criteria anymore? It doesn't make any sense.
Judging is very difficult these days.
All right, Josephine Knutsson. I like her to win here.
All right. Next up, what do we got?
Next we got Jekka Saragih at minus 345 versus Weston Wilson at plus 275.
I'll go just since you did that last one. I was trying to find a way, like
he could. There could be a Darce choke.
So I was looking. Jekka is 5'7", 5'6".
The best height.
Should be a 45er probably. Fighting Weston Wilson, who's like 6 foot 6'1". And there's the one fight that Weston Wilson won before he got in the UFC. And he actually looks decent there. He actually looks decent, does some stuff. Other than that, you watch all of his other fights, and he looks absolutely horrible in everything. He just looks bad. But I'm like, man, maybe you can do it, and maybe I don't see it. I think his chin is such a liability, and I think Jekka is actually good. He's not the greatest grappler. He's not going to be in the top 10, especially at 155 pounds, but he throws, and he throws hard. And
the way that he knocked out Lucas Alexander was
great. And the thing is with Wilson, like, I just don't know if he would put a game plan together. It's like, okay, now all right, we're going to take him down, jump on his back and go. But I actually, in some of these weird, scrambly weirdness, him being that long and just jumping around on the back, like it's not going to be, it won't be the craziest thing I've ever seen.
If he darces him.
If he darces him, or if he finds a rear naked choke, because he's so long, and Jekka's grappling is limited. It's not amazing.
There was that one time in the John Silva fight. So that fight was really important because he's the same height as Jekka.
Yes. And
kind of throws the same way as Jekka. And there was one split second where I can't remember what happened, but he got a front cover and started locking up the anaconda. Yeah. And I was like, I kind of just thought to myself, like, man, if this is Jekka instead of John Silva, then what?
Yeah.
If he's able to lock in this anaconda, then what? And I got real nervous. I'm like, what if he just comes out and he just starts wrestling Jekka? Because Jekka's, he's got his own cardio issues and he's prone to staying on the bottom.
But he also, like, if you watch him in that Jubilee fight, First round, he fought and like flailed and scrambled and tried to get up. And then after he was dead and stayed on the bottom. But when he was fresh, he tried to.
But the issue was, I watch a lot of bare knuckle, a lot. And Weston Wilson, when he got hit the first time, it looked like a bare knuckle fight. It's hilarious when you see these fights, like the crackheads, the first time they get hit, they're like, it's like they have like neurological damage and they're like spazzing out. And I went, oh, that was interesting. And then John Silva hit him again and again and again and again and again. And like every time it was like he got flash knocked out and then came back and it was crazy. And then you see that shot that he took in the middle of the fight, which was amongst the worst shots ever in the UFC.
In the history of the sport.
Yeah, that was bad. I kind of was like, man, maybe this is just a layup spot.
Yeah.
I
think it is. I think this is Weston, get out of the UFC. We're done here.
Not that he should have ever been in the UFC.
Again, I say it all the time, man. Like some people.
Dana went on a podcast last week and he goes, the UFC does not do layup fights. I don't care what anybody says. We do not do layup fights. He's lying to kick it.
He's lying.
He's lying to kick it.
He's lying. All right. Who do we have next?
Next, we have Gabriela Fernandes minus 205 versus Carly Judice plus 170.
Have you seen her ass?
Who, Carly's?
No.
Oh, the other girl? No.
Fernandes. Let me see if I can find a picture of this. Do you have anything on this one?
So very slightly. So the only thing I have here is I really like Judice's striking.
It's nice.
And her boxing, she's so green. She shouldn't even be in the UFC. I didn't know anything about her opponent on Contender. And I was just like, man, Judice is going to win because she looks great. I love her boxing. I love her striking. And then she ended up losing on Contender, got signed anyway. That was a week after Casey Tanner had Dana White go in the cage and tell him how amazing the fight was and not sign him. So anyway, I really like Judice's striking. I love her boxing. No idea anything about this other girl, but man, I hope Judice wins just because I like to watch her striking.
I'm trying to find a picture of it. This thing is like, it's serious business. It really is a serious, like an issue. Oh, Jesus. Like that's not even a great picture.
Oh,
but she's got like a bladao, like crazy.
Like three donks.
You seen this? I know you don't really like the darker skin, but I'm like, man, that's something serious.
He likes white skin, dark hair.
That's not true.
I prefer the darker skin.
What? Since when? Bro,
Are you joking right now?
He likes like a golden caramel melanin.
That's true.
Anything
Since
more
when?
than that, he's out.
I would talk shit. Maybe I need to go back and redo all my stories about our producer Camuela because I was like, yeah, he only likes whitewashed neo-Nazi Christian girls with curly hair.
I do like them Christian girls, but I do like the curly hair.
And white.
But the Nazis, the white Nazis.
You could do without.
It brings a little more edge to it.
All right. Who do you got in the fight?
Speaking of Nazis, I like Carly Judice here.
Okay. Are we good or do we have to go more on this?
No, I think we don't really have to go more. Fernandes can crack. I have said for the longest time, my dream matchup for her is her versus Natalia Silva. I think that's a great fight, and here's why. Because Natalia Silva is not going to proactively grapple. Silva does throw. She doesn't really like put a ton of volume. She's a counterpuncher, and Fernandes can crack. Yeah, Fernandes can crack. She's a heavy hitter. So I think that would be a really competitive fight. But now you have Carly Judice, who does kind of have like good boxing and really good volume. She just kind of got swag. Honestly, I think got a huge plus number here. Like, why wouldn't we bet this? This fight, even live is going to come down a lot closer. If she doesn't get knocked out in the first round, like, are you going to trust Fernandes to throw one punch every 3 minutes? And then, what's that going to look like? She can crack and she's good, but minus 200 that's insane. You're just paying the ass tax.
Ass taxes.
That's crazy.
Hefty.
I'm not man enough.
All right. Now, before we move, bro, you've met my last girlfriend.
Yeah, I know, but I thought that was just like a one-off, like a. You said it was a novelty.
What was a girl before? Was it May?
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked like Nadine. They were sisters.
Two are a little darker, but I thought those were like novelty ones. You said you went to high school with them, but you were always talking about Tori Kelly all the time.
Oh, dude, she's
just super white, curly blonde hair,
can sing.
Neo-Nazi,
best female vocalist of our generation.
She almost died. You hit her up. She almost died.
Yeah, that was crazy. All right, next up we have Nathan Maness.
We just brushed past that. That was crazy.
Versus Jimmy Flick plus 350.
Go. Give us Nate.
Are you sure you don't want to go? Because you love this guy. You would have his children.
I did 3.
Okay. Well, Maine is going to finish what Malcolm X Gordon started.
How bad was that? Malcolm looked so good, just beating this dude up, and then just went full Malcolm right to a submission.
You know, I hated that fight because everyone was so self-righteous about that fight. You know, all of MMA Twitter and all these people were on Jimmy Flick. And I was like, no, guys, look, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to do the smart play and pick Malcolm X Gordon in Canada. And the first round, I was like, you fucking idiots. You don't know shit about this. You don't know ball. And then he goes and gets choked. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, how could this go any worse? Dude, Nate Maine is he's a tall sip of water.
I think he's 5'10" and now cutting down to 125 pounds.
And we thought that was going to be an issue. It's an issue when you fight Dagestani wrestlers and shit like that. But man, he's fighting Jimmy the Brick Flick. I mean, and he dealt with the grappling of Mateus Mendonça. I don't know levels wise where him and Jimmy are. Jimmy seems to be more of a gimmick kind of grappler, like in a weird way, like back take or bust or triangle or bust. Nate was calm as could be. He was in knee bars and leg locks.
Umar didn't submit him.
Umar, yeah, but Umar was not really a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't overthink this one. This is Nate Maine is inside the distance.
I'm with you. I mean, I don't even know what to like. Flick is so panicky and just jumps to stuff. Like he just is not comfortable fighting. Like he's a guy who should go do grappling matches and grappling tournaments and stuff. And he does have good, like tricky jiu-jitsu on some stuff. Like he has some good setups. He does. It's like Cody Brundage in sorts where he's got that good guillotine. He's got a few things. And then if he doesn't get it, it's like, all right, I don't really want to be here fighting. Derek Minner, you know what I mean? You get a lot of these guys that are.
Yeah, now he's taking down a 5'10" guy, which is a lot harder. And his wrestling is fine sometimes.
His wrestling's good. It's weird. No, you're right. Like some days it looks really good and you're like, man, Flick can actually wrestle. And then other days it looks panicky and he'll shoot and then pull guard.
Like, I think it's when he starts getting touched with the hands. That's when it looks horrible. Again, if he was in a straight grappling match, you're like, this dude's a dog. He's gonna go in, take him down, and just crazy top control. But Maness, again, is a tall sip of water. And for guys that don't practice cage wrestling, taking down someone 5'10", it's a thing.
And he's calm. Like he's never out of sorts. He's always calm. If he does to Flick what Gordon did, he's just going to be on the edge of his punches, still punching and going. And I can't imagine that he goes full ballistic and rolls over and gives up his back or a head and arm triangle.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
All right. Next, we got our boy Adam Fugitt plus 100 versus Josh Quinlan at minus 120.
I mean, there's not much to say here because Adam trains with us. He's been down for a while. He moved down to Arizona, not moved, but was like, wasn't getting fights, wasn't getting booked, and was like, hey, I'm just going to go down to Fight Ready and train and just stay on somebody's couch until I get a fight booked. And he's been, at Fight Ready for 3, 4, 5 months. I don't even know how long. And then got this fight booked. And him and Kelvin Gastelum have been scrapping it out.
Crazy battles.
And just like looking good, and they've got a good group of guys, and Adam's just a solid human. His girlfriend's down here, and he was actually giving me shit today because I was telling his video guy, Sager, his girlfriend, Sophie, I said, man, she looks good. I said, she's actually a lot better than she thinks she is. Like she's almost a little timid and a little meek and a little shy and is like, oh, I don't really, like she doesn't have the confidence. She's actually pretty good.
She's got the opposite problem of most fighters. Everyone thinks they're a lot better than they are. She doesn't trust her own skills, but she's doing well against UFC girls.
Yeah, she's actually really good. And then Adam came over and he's like, so she's better than she thinks she is? Where are my compliments like that? And I'm like, dude, you're shit. Like you're always garbage, but we're talking about her right now. And so super nice guy, man. I'll be going up there Friday for that fight. So that's that. What else is next?
All right, next we have Tagir Ulanbekov minus 230 versus Josh Van plus 190.
Do you want to go? You want me to go? Do you have a thought?
I'll go on this one. In a vacuum, in a clear world where everything is normal and everything is right is right, Tagir is going to win this fight. He should. Stylistically, it's a pretty bad matchup for Josh Van because Josh Van can get taken down. Tagir is very tall and he hangs on people. He's got great submissions. He's not a bad striker. Now, in my reality, this is a Josh Van win. Dude's small. He's a really small 25er. And me being kind of tall for the weight class, and I train with a guy who's like basically a midget. He is hard to just grab onto. It's hard for me. I do the same kind of shit. Like I'm gangly and I hang on guys. It's hard to just get a hold of them. Now, when that same person is putting together crazy body work, punches, just volume, and is getting better.
But you're talking about a D1 wrestler.
Who?
Ryan, right?
Yeah. He's
Ryan,
a D1 wrestler?
Yeah, he was he wrestled in New York, was state placer, wrestled at the Citadel.
What?
Yeah, he wrestled at the Citadel I think for 2 years until COVID, and then that kind of messed everything up, and so then he was like, I'm just going to go to MMA full time.
This is news to me. Okay, well that's different.
Yeah, that's you're dealing with an explosive brick of a human versus a kid who played soccer and boxed growing up and has grappled after the boxing.
Okay, well, I know you're going to go huge on Tagir here. I get it. Josh Van is a huge underdog in this fight. Stylistically, it's the worst fight for him. I think that kid is improving at a rapid pace. I'll just never forget how slow Tagir looked against, what's his name? The cheating guy,
Tim Elliott.
Well,
Elliott is chaos.
He is chaos, but his striking is kind of dog shit. It's tricky, but it's not great.
Yeah, but Elliott can grapple and scramble like a son of a bitch, too.
I think that Josh Van can now, too.
I think...
Look what he did to your boy. That's your boy. Felipe Bunez.
Yeah, but Bunez can't wrestle, and he death-gassed.
But even his jiu-jitsu looked good, and Van kept going right into his guard and saying, fuck you.
Yeah, Bunez was like... Dude, here's the thing, is you said it. He's little. He's short. What Tagir does so well, watch him almost anytime somebody encroaches into his, because Tagir's got a really good jab, good footwork, holds his ground. The thing that I like about Tagir too is he's not always backing up as people are coming in. He'll stand his feet and he's sticking you with the jab. When you come in his range, he collar ties you. He just grabs you and collar ties you and starts hockey punching you. But then he hangs on an overhook and he gets his takedowns a lot of the time from these over-under outside trips because he's so long. And as he sags, he puts his outside, his lead leg, which would be his overhook leg, and just bumps you over and then finishes. He is going to, I think, just drape over Van every time. Van is going to press and press and press right into that collar tie. He's going to get hit, and then he's going to whizzer and body lock him and throw him down. I mean, look what he did to Cody Durden, who is a good wrestler and a good jiu-jitsu guy. I like Joshua Van. I think that he is going to get big brothered here.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's like literally the logical thought to this fight is it's exactly how it goes. And I'm going against the grain of what's clearly in front of me. If we're going based on tape and what the tape says, like that's what's going to happen. Paris Moran was taking him down a ton of times, and I don't think Paris Moran is near the level of Tagir, not in the wrestling or the striking.
And Tagir doesn't get tired either. You look at Felipe Bunez.
He gets a little tired.
I mean, at a pace, like Felipe death-gassed, and Tagir's not going to.
Well, look, there's no reason to ever play Josh pre. Never. There's never a reason to play Josh pre. He loses the first round in every single fight. Watch the first round, see how this goes. And if he's making any slight improvement,
then bet everything you own on Tagir.
Oh, shit. At minus 600 once he gets the first takedown.
600, drain the accounts.
God. Yeah, I actually did that last week with Montana De La Rosa and Andrea Lee. She got pretty big number there, and I was like, man, her striking look. Did you watch that fight?
Yeah.
Her striking kind of nasty.
It looked clean.
Shit.
It looked clean.
She better than most girls. I'm going to go Josh Van, and with like not a lot of confidence. Just like I really want him to win.
Okay.
All right, cool. Next, Garrett Armfield, minus 185 versus Brady Hiestand, plus 154.
Give me your thoughts on Armfield, Hiestand.
This seems crazy to me because Armfield is a really good wrestler, and his striking has looked like shit No, I mean like in a good way. Like shit, this guy is good. I had money on Katona in that, Katona and Armfield
especially
fight.
in Canada.
Yeah, and I had money on Katona, and I'm watching this fight, and the live odds are spiking for Katona, and they're like basically saying he's won every round. And I'm like, has he though? I feel like Armfield is winning these rounds. The dude can wrestle. His grappling is good. He's calm. I love that he's at Marathon with Trey Ogden, because Ogden, I think, is a really smart mind in the game. He's a great coach. I believe
I like to see fighters go from big gyms to small gyms. And I think that does them well. I think when fighters are at a small gym, I think they need to branch out and go to these bigger gyms. But I think once they've been to the big gyms and they know what's there, and then they go back to a small gym, then I really like it, because then they're getting the focus. They're the man. So they're getting all the attention, but they know like they're not missing out, and they're like the grass isn't greener. And
you have to go there to get the training partners, get the feels, get the sparring. I've kind of done just in my own career, I've been at Siege MMA, that real tiny dinky gym, for so many years. Nobody there.
Horrible people.
I'm just joking. Camilla and his family own the gym, and that's where I started and met you. And, nobody's a pro there. Everyone's amateurs, and I learned a lot there. Now I'm at Fight Ready the majority of the time and getting to take all that stuff. And then, I like going back, because then it's individual attention. I know if I run and I lift, then I know how to fight and I'll be okay. So now I can just focus on the details. And I love that. Ogden's a great game planner. Man, Armfield has looked just career best. Hiestand is, you guys had to game plan against him, I think, one time with Dana.
And that fight, like, man, all Dana had to do, and this, I've talked about this before, so I'll make it quick. I really don't like cornering fighters who don't speak English well, because I feel like I'm doing them a disservice. And it really bothers me.
Because you're trying to voice what you need to say in the corner, but you're talking over someone who can actually communicate to them.
Yes. And it was just really hard, because Dana was there getting pinned and punched. And if he had just like
wiggled,
knee slip,
grabbed the arm,
just little stuff, I think he'd have won. And he came to us. That was his last fight in the UFC. That was the only camp that we were able to do with him. And then he lost. And then, he's out of the UFC now. And I feel like if we could have communicated better with him, he'd still be in the UFC and still be doing this. So
the cornering is super important. I've cornered with you, 3 times, and every time I don't say a word, because I'm not trying to take, that's not for me. That's your time. And I told you the other day when I was cornering with Mackenzie, and how annoying that she's just going, boa, 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 every 3 seconds. Like, wait, shut the fuck up. Let's give some real actual stuff that we need to say. Don't just start screaming, boa, boa, boa. It doesn't help anybody. And so the same thing, that communication is super, super important.
Now, when Mackenzie was saying that, did it sound like an American accent, or was that in a Brazilian accent?
What was so funny is being with her, like, she can turn it on and off real quickly. I do understand a bit of this. When the Brazilians go and be around their own people, they're all speaking in a heavy language. But then when I would just talk to her and I'm like, hey, Mackenzie, and I'm just my little white voice, she's like,
hello.
She's like, hey, what's up? What's going on? You know what I mean? So it's just funny.
All right, Armfield, Hiestand.
I like Armfield.
So do I. And I'm shocked that this line was as close as it was.
Me too. Because what does Brady have to win? He just wrestles. He doesn't fuck off. Yeah. He wrestles hard, and he'll go out on his shield, but his striking is rough.
It's not great. And yeah, he was moving laterally a lot and throwing these high kicks against Dana. But Dana, his footwork is not amazing. And he, like, as it is, Dana's not trying to footwork you. He's just cutting you off and swinging. Like, and he knows that. That's his, he's just swinging.
March forward, swing.
Yes, let's go. And then Garrett has good wrestling. He's got good jiu-jitsu. His striking looks way better. I really like Armfield here. I don't think he's probably going to get a finish. I think it's going to be a 30-27.
I don't know. His striking is like, holy shit.
I wish he would. I feel like he's not cracking and hurting people. Like, he's not.
He knocked that dude back to Japan.
Yeah.
I get that guy is not a UFC guy, but the way that he hit him was like, what the fuck am I watching?
I feel like Brady's going to be tough enough to stick it through, but take a 30-27 beating.
We need to see Brady I'm sorry, Garrett Armfield versus C-Rod. We need to see that one.
That was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen. Yeah. And I'm glad that didn't happen for C-Rod because Armfield came out looking way more game than ever. And good game plan. Like, that will be a good fight someday.
Yeah, Armfield striking looks good. He actually has a lot longer reach than his height would suggest. He has ape arms.
I hate his Twitter account, though. I don't know why.
I don't follow
it bothers me.
All right. Who do we have next?
All right, next we have Asu Almabaev versus Jose Johnson. Almabaev is minus 500. Johnson is plus 380.
Is this fight even happening? How could this fight happen? I don't even understand.
What do you mean?
The dude is 5'10" or 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And he's not skinny.
Fighting guy who's 5'4".
But he's not skinny either. He's like kind of built up top. How is he going to make weight? He's never made 25 before. So how are we doing this? How is this? We don't even need to talk about this fight. It's not going to happen.
You don't think it does?
Why would this happen? The dude can't make 25. How can he make it?
Man,
he fights 35 all the time, and he's not a small 35er either.
Yeah, that's crazy. His last weigh-in was 136 versus who did he fight? Chad and Helliger. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, if this fight
happens, does happen, what do you think?
Okay, theoretically, I hate just talking about some shit that's not going to happen, though. Theoretically, I mean, he's good, and he can make this fight really tough. We saw in the Jack Cartwright fight on the Contender Series, him just being so annoying on his back all the time and just like resting there. And Cartwright, I don't think is very good. Weird guy, weird style, all that stuff. But he throws up triangles. He's putting in butterfly hooks. He's like always like doing something. He doesn't just settle. And striking wise, he's a pretty good boxer. I really do like his striking. If this fight happens, there's so many variables. Asu can wrestle his ass off. That little guy.
Amazing chain wrestling. He gets head on the outside single, sit him, crack it. And he actually does what's kind of quote unquote wrong in MMA. He'll get a head on the outside single, run the pipe into what's called a crackdown position where I'm hugging the leg with both. If you don't know wrestling, I'm hugging a single leg with my head on the outside with both arms. We hit the mat. And so their other leg is kind of on the side where they could, in theory, come up and take my back. And he does that in that crackdown position, somehow doesn't get choked and doesn't get his back taken, ends up bringing the arm across on the double.
He didn't fight me yet.
But it's his chain wrestling is beautiful.
Yes, it is beautiful, but he fought CJ Vergara, who's a foot shorter than Jose Johnson.
And he's 5'4". So, I mean,
I think this is a tough fucking fight for him.
So do I.
Johnson is like high volume. He's a good striker, and he's just annoying. Like as somebody who kind of fights like Asu, like I like to wrestle and do that kind of stuff. My worst stylistic matchup, the thing that I hate the most is these long, gangly guys that keep putting in butterfly hooks and throwing up triangles and doing shit on the ground. It makes me tired because they won't just settle, and I can't just pin them down. And then if Johnson gets up for 20 seconds and starts putting it on him, like he could make this fight really, really, really tight. I don't see him just being like, lay on top of me, Asu.
There's a lot of variables here, mainly the height. I mean, that height difference
and
is
the weight
insane.
cut, though, because maybe he gasses in a round.
Yeah. See, I still like Asu here, and I'll tell you why. Because I was watching, and Helliger and Asu are probably around the same height, and Helliger had a really hard time getting in. It was like he just didn't know what to do. He was too far away. And that said, and Helliger hip tossed Johnson a couple times, and Helliger took him down a couple times. By that alone, Asu's taking him down. Weight doesn't even matter. Let Johnson weigh 180 pounds. Asu's taking him down.
Oh, come on.
Now, and Helliger was trying to find his way in, but Asu actually just moves laterally, and he's constantly he's got a good jab, he's got a good stance, but the lateral movement. And so the lateral movement alone is going to stop Johnson from being able to just front kick him like he was doing to Ann Helliger and just jabbing his way out. He's always going to constantly have to readjust. And I think those front kicks and jabs on the moving target are going to give Asu his entrance into the shot. So I do think Asu wins here. But man, the height and the craziness of that, it definitely is a thing to consider.
I'm going to pick Asu as well. I'm not like afraid of A sides. Like I know he's the A side.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win. I just think the line is like wide just for how annoying the style is.
It is the height difference, the craziness. And honestly, Johnson is not bad. He's pretty
skilled.
good. I like him. I think he's going to be outmatched in the wrestling department. If he doesn't land a knee up the middle, it's going to be a hard win for him.
I was just going to look at something on Tapology, and I saw the picture of Fernandes' butt up here.
Well, it's pleasant.
Not too bad.
All right, let's move along. What else we got?
All right, next we have Miles Johns -122 versus Douglas Silva de Andrade +102.
I'm going to go on this one. And I'm never overly big on Miles Johns. I just have not been huge on that side. He's move forward, duck the head, overhand. If the overhand doesn't land, he ducks again and steps through with his left overhand. I would just call it a hook, but he steps through and it's an overhand. That's it. Right overhand, left overhand. His offensive wrestling is not amazing, but it's like we were saying with Flick. Sometimes it looks really good, and then other times it's very pedestrian. So I don't do that with what you will. He does a good job of when he gets taken down, he doesn't stay on his back, he gets up. So that alone is good. And then he's gotten better cardio recently. Like he's pushed through on some of those bad cardio things. I don't know if that's USADA leaving or if that is just training, being more comfortable in the people don't realize it is like adrenaline freaky as hell to be in a fight with another person trying to kill you in front of millions of people at 100 miles an hour. And the more comfortable you are with that, the less tired you get. And so I don't know what it is, but there's that. I still to this day think Cody won that third round. And then some people are going 30-27 Andrade or De Silva. And I thought that was nuts. Like I just thought, Cody dropped him in that last round, really beat him up. Like I don't know what the hell happened there. But like Andrade, Silva, however many, his 1,700 names, we'll call him Silva because I don't even De Silva. He moves away, but then, gosh, it's so weird because he does some stuff really well and he's really calm and he looks really good in moments. And then he's just swinging and tired and death gassed and like looks like a wooden horse who's falling apart. So it's really weird. And then he'll look really good the next moment. And so he's kind of so hit and miss and he looks good. But he's now 38. He really, when Cody figured out that he could just swing and press Andrade or De Silva, he really started putting it on. It was when Cody was on the outside shadow boxing with his little 2-inch arms, like,
all right, come on.
And he didn't know what to do. And he's like, I'm swinging and I'll punch something at some point. And you know where he was losing. But Miles, I think, is going to press and get in his face and go. And I think that 29, 30-year-old chin and jaw versus the 38-year-old chin and jaw of De Silva and the pressure and just the fight. I think Miles is going to fight. I'm not always big on his skill set or his technical set. He's not with Fortis anymore. He's who is he with now? He moved up to Glory, but then I think he's with Brennan and them. I think he's going to have a lot of attention on him this camp, just not being in a bigger camp. And I think he's actually going to look really good. And I think he's just going to push the pace and go and just fight his balls off. And because of just pure fight and piss and vinegar, win.
I'm actually right there with you. I can't believe this is a pick'em line. And not because I think he's going to run away with it or Douglas is outmatched or anything. He, like you said, he does a lot of stuff well, like a lot of tricky strikes, fire hydrant. I mean, the dude is physical as they come. Like he is really solid. But I think this is Miles' time. Miles had his time to lose already.
Yeah.
He's lost before. He's had his time to lose. You know, everybody's going to keep going and fading him, including myself. Last fight, I picked Cody. And it was so weird watching him pick up the second wind instead of Cody.
Yes.
And that was huge because, you know, in this fight, it's going to come down to who gasses first. They're kind of similar in the way that they throw. And
De Silva has looked really good in the past in some really amazing fights. And if you look at his strength of schedule versus Miles, it's way better.
I mean, Saeed and
he's fighting really good guys, but he's just getting older and you're starting to see that a little bit. And like I said, I think if this fight was 2 years ago, I'm going De Silva. But
yeah, I'm going to go Miles Johns. Just literally on the age.
Yep.
It's like the Zaleski fight a few weeks ago. Everyone was like, Zaleski. And I said, that's good value if you could have got it at the time that it was. But at the end of the day, Randy Brown is young, fast. It's his time now.
Yeah, I think I didn't realize a lot of people were on Zaleski, I think, until we did the pod, but I was really
big on Brown.
That was one of those ones where I told you, I said, no, I think this is a clear Randy Brown. And you're like, what? Like, like clear, and I was like, I love him here.
Yeah, it was interesting, but there was moments that were a little bit scary for him too. I was actually surprised how good his grappling was, and maybe we'll see a bit of that in this fight. But like, man, the numbers that Miles put up in the Cody fight, just strikes wise, shows me that he is capable. And that was a hectic pace, and I don't even think Douglas is gonna bring that kind of fight. He's kind of one-off weird strikes. I hate guys that just spin and throw weird.
He doesn't
overhands.
Want a chaotic fight.
No. He wants clean outside. Let me throw one shot and be stronger than you.
Yep.
All right, cool. Next, we have Lucas Almeida plus 170 versus Timothy Cuamba minus 205.
Go on this one. I didn't tape this one. I know these guys pretty well, but I didn't tape.
So Cuamba is better than I was
He's
like,
good.
Yeah, I was like, man, this guy sucks. And I was watching him against Oki, and I was like, oh, he's not bad. He's good. He did a good job of getting Oki down. I think it was in the second round. Grappled well. Did some of the right stuff, and then just fell into some of the other stuff in the grappling area. Striking is not bad. He went up a weight class on short notice and
performed well
and did fine. The thing is with Almeida, like, what are we getting? I was so big on Almeida after the Trizano fight. And even against Zellhuber, he looked great. Like he looked really good. In his last two fights, he just didn't look well. Sabatini just was like, nah, I'm gonna wrestle you. And then Andre Fili he just looked flat. He didn't look good. He looked dead. I don't know what happened to him, but he did not look like we were expecting him to look in the past. He's got a beautiful left hook, great striking, decent-ish wrestling and wrestling defense. Like he does a lot of the stuff.
He's got a lot of skills and has looked horrible.
Yes. So I have to assume that he's not going to be I don't know if it was just a bad weight cut or what. I don't think he's going to have another really, really bad performance. Maybe he does. I can't predict it. If Almeida shows up the best version of Almeida and Cuamba or whatever the hell his name is shows up the best version of him, I'm going Almeida all the way. If he doesn't, but you can't predict, do they show up or not, or do they perform or not? Like
maybe he's mailing it in now. We
don't know. Usada's gone. Maybe he's on better supplements now. Like I don't know. Skill for skill, I've got to go Almeida. I think that he's just the tougher, better striker, and I just like his skill set more. I mean, does he show up? Who the hell knows?
Back to the well one more time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of with you. I like Cuamba, but man, he doesn't have like the stopping power.
That's the issue. Is he's not scary, and how is he going to finish?
I mean, he could take him down and win that way.
Can he though? Like, I mean, Oki is not a very good wrestler, and he got him down and did stuff well, but I don't think he'll be able to do that against Almeida.
I mean, Almeida just kind of phoned it in against Sabatini. The second that he got taken down.
Yes, but Sabatini is a very good grappler.
He is.
Against Cuamba, who's probably a mediocrely okay grappler.
I'm sure in the gym, Cuamba's a handful. I bet. Because he's on that Vegas scene, and I think a lot of people are really, really high on him around that scene, and there's a lot of chatter about him. I might have to ask Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson what's up with Mr. Cuamba. I like his skills, man. The kid he's really solid. I bet him pretty big on Contender Series against Mateo Vogel. Almost killed Vogel, and then couldn't put him away. I think it's just hard for me. I don't want to lose money one more time on Almeida. It will be the death of me, but I think he should win. So I'll go with you. I'm going to take Almeida because the Zellhuber fight was incredible. That was an insane performance.
It's amazing.
The volume, the power, the Trizano fight, like he has looked good. We keep waiting for that next performance. Now losing a grappling match to Sabatini is, that's expected.
And man, Andre Fili,
he can crack.
Is big. He can crack. He's good. Like, hey, I don't know. Maybe standing across from him, he got stage fright or something. I don't know, but
okay, I'm gonna go Almeida too. Is what it is.
All right. In the co-main, we have Ikram Aliskerov minus 900 versus Antonio Trocoli plus 600.
This is the co-main event.
Dude, it's insane.
This is the co-main.
So I'm gonna go first.
What is happening?
Aliskerov, period.
Jesus Christ, this is the co-main. Oh my God, dude hasn't trained for a year. No, Trocoli hasn't trained for a year.
Yeah, I know.
And he's getting beat up in the gym, and he's he wants to go back down to 170. What weight is this at? 85.
85. Yep.
First of all, is he going to make weight? He put on a ton of weight. Doesn't really take this seriously.
Aliskerov is good, man. Like he can grapple. He's a really good striker. I mean, what is Trocoli going to do? Pull guard, Lucas Lecce, half guard, sweep him, come up to the back and choke.
Even his grappling wasn't good.
No, I know.
He was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight the Umar
Subadai Sai's brother.
Yeah.
Sabadu Sai's. Yeah.
And that dude is a grappler, actually, not so much a striker. And watching that, going like, dude, he's not going to do shit to him. That dude's a way better grappler than Trocoli. I don't know what's going on. Needs some money. Needs a visa. Whatever it is, man. Ikram's going to kill him.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Main event, Alex Perez plus 154 versus Tatsura Taira minus 185.
Hey, before we get into our main event.
Oh, okay. All right.
Join us on the Patreon. Join us on the Discord. Do it. This last week, I put up a couple picks. They were, whatever. I was out of town, so I wasn't my best week ever. The week before that, I was like, I think 10 out of 11. I think the only one I got Morono'd. So other than that, I got everything like 10 out of 11. You've been placing down some picks. There's been a lot of money made recently. So make some money. And honestly, even if you don't make or lose money, just come in and say hello and talk shit and we'll make fun of you.
Yeah.
We won't make fun of you. We will.
It depends on how you act.
It depends on how you act. I'm happy to make fun of you. But the Discord is fun, man. Going in there, there's so many sharp people on there.
And just watching the fight, I know it's like weird. Like if you're like, on Coronado Beach, surrounded by a bunch of MILFs and stuff, and then you're like on the Discord, like watching fights.
But I was.
But
and
it
was fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is, and it's fun. I'm cracking up mid-fight with what these people are saying, and I love it, man. I love our Discord. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's a safe haven.
It's a safe haven. So,
No, you got. Are we getting in right now?
Yeah, let's do
You
it.
got some apologizing. Someone look into the camera and just apologize to Mr. Perez. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just apologize to him.
I'm sorry. All
right, now we can move on.
For the Nicolau fight?
For the Nicolau
What did I say?
He's just not good at, he's good at not losing, and he's not dangerous, and he can't do anything.
Well, but honestly,
he sent him back to.
No, I know, but the fights previous to that, he's so reactive and so willing to play everyone else's game.
He was just loading up the big one. He's a shark. He's a whale.
All right, Johnny, talk some shit. Why don't you go first?
All right, Tyra's gonna win.
Okay, thank you. I mean, is that it? I mean, you're.
No, I'm actually hesitant on this one. I know everybody's in love with Tatsura Taira. His grappling is very good, and actually, I like his striking better than his grappling. If I'm being really honest, he's got really fast 1-2s. I think he makes mistakes a lot of times, and he kind of gets into some weird positions. And Perez is like veteran enough, like you said, he's good at not losing a lot. He can wrestle. He's got calf kicks. I think he can make this fight really, really interesting. You're gonna go crazy on Taira, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear what you have to say on Taira.
Well, a couple things. One, even before we get to Taira, let's talk Perez. Same thing. Nothing changes from the Nicolau fight in the sense of he's very reactive and he lets other people dictate where the fight is going to go. The other thing, and this is, I'm getting weird here. So this is a weird, I specifically do not like fighters to fight too soon. And when they have success, like Perez stepped in for Nicolau in the last fight, but he was kind of like last fight on his contract, needed something big. He had nothing to lose. And then you see that a lot. People win. They have these big wins, and then they turn around so fast and they do it. And you need a sense of urgency with fighting. And when people turn around too quickly, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, the Chimaevs, one punch knocking people out, like whatever. But you get those people. I remember Courtney Casey fought the girl where she armbarred her. I forget her name. And then asked me if she wanted to fight Jillian Robertson like 3 weeks later, a month, whatever it was. And in the first fight before that, I forget the girl's name, where she had a camp and she was miserable and cranky and ready to fight and just done. And it's like, that's how I want a fighter. And then this other fight, she won the bonus. She had all this money. Everything was good. And then she's like, no, I'll just take this fight. I'm like, no, you need.
Now you're relaxing. You got to just.
Yes. You need a buildup. You need that. Like, you want to be ready to fight and angry and annoyed and piss and vinegar.
Kind of what you're saying. Like, when you sign the contract, Bilal Muhammad was kind of talking about this. He's like, when I sign a contract, it is on. And running fucking sucks. So to wake up every day and run without a purpose, right? If you're fighting 3 weeks later, you don't really have to do that. Oh, I'm already in shape. I'm good. But to go run and go like, well, this running has to be for something. You're right. That's the buildup. Like that's this shit sucks.
It's when people have the hardest weight cut of their life and they make the weight and they hit the scale and they're like, thank God. And then they forget to fight the next day because the adrenaline and that release of making the weight, which should not be a fight, turn into a fight and an accomplishment. And then they forget that, we still have more accomplishments.
That sounded real close to home.
A little bit too close. So, but with stuff like this, like I think Perez I would like to see Perez just fucking sit back, go back to training, schedule a fight for a while, and then really like have his moment instead of just going and doing it. So anyway, there's that. I think you ride high and you get too close to the sun, and there's that. Now, Taira on the other side, you said it. He's got good striking. He's got a good jab. He moves well. He does a lot of good stuff. I like his striking. What I really like with Striker is his ability to close the distance. And I think he's going to be able to Mokaev Alex a good amount where shooting, grappling in these exchanges and just find the back. So because Taira, we've talked about this in Taira's early UFC fights, he shoots and comes out to the back.
Yeah, he spins around.
He's not always shooting to wrestle. He shoots, finds the back, and he can just hang out. He can ride clock again and again and again. He's so tall and long for the division. I think he can find his way up on top, land some good ground and pound, and just steal a lot of minutes here. So I like Taira for the win. I think it's probably going to go over 3. Maybe something late.
Is that what the line is set at? 3.5?
I don't know. I'm just kind of
just vibing. Okay.
Vibing.
All right.
What do you got?
No, I don't have much of an opinion. I think I'm with you. You kind of swayed me. That's why I wanted to hear what you had to say. I don't love everything about Taira's game, but I understand the kid is a next level talent. And, my concern, did you watch the Baeza Puna fight last week?
Yes. And first of all, I was like, yeah, Puna's winning this. Everyone was on Baeza in the line. And I was like, what world are we in?
But why were you so convinced?
Are you kidding? I'm not even being a dick. To me, I thought, how are we even talking about this? Baeza, he is fast. He stands very upright. Puna, he has cardio issues and he does some dumb shit, but he is durable. He can wrestle. And more than anything, and I said this on my write-up really quickly in the Patreon, is Baeza is so upright and cannot defensively grapple well. I mean, he goes jiu-jitsu, defensively wrestle well, I should say, not grapple. He's so tall and so stiff, really clean striker, beautiful striker. His chin is non-existent. Yeah. But even more so than that, Puna does this thing I love where he goes and level changes into an overhand. But a lot of times he'll level change, and if he doesn't get it, he shifts. So he'll shift his back leg forward and then level change again. And that movement right there, even if he didn't wrestle, is going to draw those hands down so much that Puna is going to be blasting punches in there. Puna is way more durable to me than Baeza is. If they get into just a pissing contest, give me Puna all day long.
Yeah,
over Baeza. Man, and then the wrestling. So
that was a bad read. I guess it was never about Puna's skills itself. It was about his game planning. He's never really showed his wrestling before, other than defensively with Maximov.
Well, he took Jamie Pickett down again and again in Contender.
Wow, congratulations. But then also, in his last fight against Stoltzfus, he just kind of stopped throwing altogether. So I thought that was interesting. And the only reason that I'm even bringing that up is I almost worried, okay, does that fight happen here? Because Taira is a jiu-jitsu guy. But I think Taira's fight IQ is much better than Baeza's. More game to fight.
And he's a better wrestler, and he's not going to fall on. He's not going to lay on his back. He'll
get up.
Yeah, he's a good jiu-jitsu guy.
All right, well, then Taira it is.
And the other thing is when Perez shoots, he shoots head on the outside so much.
Might get the neck wrapped
Yeah,
up.
and he has been guillotined a couple times because we were talking about it earlier where Asu, whatever, hits that head on the outside single into a crackdown. Perez does that too and gets submitted for it. Like that's generally what you don't want to do because you leave your neck there. Taira's a jiu-jitsu guy where I think if he does that, I think his neck's going to be taken.
All right, Taira it is. So max bet parlay is Ikram inside the distance, Nate Maness inside the distance, and then cap it off with a little Tatsura Taira.
Yes. Everything you've ever worked for in life. Steal your neighbors. No,
I got a fatty free bet this week. They're going to give me 10 grand.
I know, that's
for
awesome.
free. So that's what's running.
Who's doing that?
FanDuel.
I like it.
They should pay me to say that. FanDuel.
Yeah, you're going to get a check in the mail for that.
All right.